Yeah, so Firefly Farms, which is in Accident, it's just a town over. They're a really big cheesemaker. And so during the cheese making process, what gets separated out is all of the water content and the whey protein from the milk. So it just goes into a big, like, cooled holding tank, and we just pick it up for the pigs. So we use the large IBC totes that are like 300 gallons, and we go pick it up a couple times a week, and then we just feed it out to them. So it's 90% water and 10% whey. So it looks like milk. So they drink it as they would drink water, but they like it more than water because it has like the whey protein in it. And I think it definitely impacts the flavor of the pork as well. It just makes them that much more awesome. But it's cool because it's like, it's just a byproduct. Like they have no real outlet for the whey because they're not scaled enough that it would make sense for them to invest in a human grade equipment or dehydrate it and sell it as a protein. It's like, so there's other pig farmers that pick it up too in the area. So we're really fortunate to have that. And like, yeah, the pigs love it.
And then how much whey do you feed them?
I mean, they probably each drink like 3 to 5 gallons of whey a day.
Wow. I didn't know. I was waiting for the last part and you said day. That's
no, yeah, they drink a lot of, I can't believe they can drink that much. But that's the other reason why they don't really drink water, because they get all of the water through that whey. Yeah, they love it. He's rooting a big. So they root for multiple different reasons. Like they root to find food underground, but then they also root to just make little beds. Like I think that's probably, partially what he's doing right now. Like the deeper he roots, the cooler it is. So then he'll lay down there. But it's totally like their most natural instinct is, yeah, he's making a bed. So it's totally their most natural instinct is the rooting behavior. Like I always say that they root even like when they're in their mom's bellies, because if you feel them in there, and like I swear it's just their little snouts, you can feel like pushing against the mom's belly. And then they start rooting like as soon as they come out, and you could see like the design of them is like they have these really short, thick necks and these really long and strong snouts that are, just make them like the perfect excavator. But then they have like these tiny little delicate hairs on the end of their nose so they can, find. It's like the strongest but most sensitive thing at the same time. They also love hiding behind trees. And then like looking around the tree.
Like little puppies.
Oh, so they're back there nursing. When they first have litters, they have really big litters, and then like almost like too big. Like their first litters are always like almost too many piglets. And then their second, third ones are like good, good sizes. And then, so like Spuds is probably getting closer to being, she's like done, because she only had 6 piglets this litter, where like her last one was like 10. Cowgirl has 10. That's like a strong litter is like 10. 10's like a good number. But sometimes, I've seen them have like 14. It just depends. But yeah. We don't wean, so we don't ever well, like at some point, they'll obviously get separated from the pigs, but we don't separate them before they're done nursing. The moms will just naturally kick them off by like 3 months. And it's like they have enough space, to get away from the piglets. It's not like they're in a confinement situation where like they can't get away from the nursing piglets and therefore you have to wean. Like they can do it very naturally, where they're just like can get away from them or kick them off or just lay down on their stomachs.
That's what they do, they lay on their stomachs to just say, I'm done?
They'll lay on their stomachs when they don't want them to nurse, yeah. And then, yeah, and then they roll on their sides when they do, you know, when it's like time, like, and they do a lot of little, they have a very different oink, like a very maternal, almost like a singing to their piglets oink when the piglets are nursing. So it's cool. They all have unique voices too. I don't know if that's the case for like all species, it could be. But yeah, so all the pigs have their own voices, even though they, you know, to us it's like indistinguishable. But I heard that and I didn't really, you know, connect the dots until I had taken a video in another paddock of pigs. And then I visited another group of pigs and I was like uploading it to Instagram, and the pigs heard the video of the other pigs from another group snorting, and they were all like on alert. They were like, oh, oh, oh. Like they couldn't figure out where it was coming from or who those pigs were that they were hearing. So that was really cool.
That's gotta be wild.
Yeah.
To just randomly experience that.
But like, look at them. They're so happy. They're just like.
Just munching and enjoying the woods.
Yeah.
How old are the piglets?
So some of them were born June 28th, so like 3 weeks old, and then some of them are like a week and a half old. Yeah, so there was like a week and a half gap between the litters. Such a misconception about what pigs eat, because it's like they are omnivores. Like they eat basically everything, you know. They eat plant tops, they eat plant roots, they eat bugs, they eat nuts.
That's also the interesting misconception too, is because most of the pig industry is so destroyed, and what most people see is what they see from confinement areas, the stuff they're fed there is just horrific.
Yeah, I know. It's, yeah, like they have such a diverse diet, you know, because it's like they have all of this forage, and because of the frequency of movement, I do think it's like, I do think like what we said, it's hard figuring out the balance between how often to move pigs, but realistically, you know, not everybody moves their pigs as often as we do. So like but having the access to the forage just gives them such a more diverse diet. And it really impacts the flavor. Like, I think it's so interesting. It's the same thing with grass-fed beef. Like, I'm sure you know, all grass-fed beef tastes different because of different grasslands, different species. And it's the same thing with the pork. Like, it tastes different times of year based on what they're foraging. And I think that's like how meat should be. It should change flavors. You should be able to have distinctions. But whenever the animals are raised in these confinement, large factory settings, they're fed the same thing. So it's like the most consistent meat ever at the grocery store, where like this steak is always gonna taste and smell and look this way. And it just kind of like is a really bad way to raise animals, but also it takes the whole fun out of like how meat should taste and be. Nuanced.
Well, I forgot, I don't know if it was a documentary or the book about finding the best steak, and the guy said essentially the best steak in the world he's ever had and the worst steak in the world he's ever had is grass-fed and finished. And just because that just shows how big the spectrum is.
Totally. Find any manure too, but it is.
No, there actually is over here.
It is really cool to see how
there's been
just like, I think like the mycelium, everything is just like, the manure breakdown happens so much more rapidly in the forest than even in the pasture. Yeah. I think it's just because of all of the like mycelium and like fungi and this isn't a great example, but yeah, like, so there's no bad odor. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't smell like manure. It doesn't smell like a barn at all.
Well, that's a good point too. Not even the barn, because the one thing that I learned quick was whenever driving past farms, it's not supposed to smell terrible.
Yeah.
And,
No.
and so now I realize, oh, that's a sign of mismanagement. Every
Yes.
time I drive past one, because even like in West Texas, where there's a lot of cattle feedlots and whatnot, you can smell it from miles away.
Oh yeah.
And here, yeah, I'm
No.
so used to it now, visiting all the farms that are doing it. I'm so used to not even having that, to where I'm just now realizing, whenever you mention the smell, I was like, yes, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's something I talk about like when people are coming for tours, because yeah, you don't think about it, and then it's like you say, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, there is no smell. Like, it just smells like we're in the forest. It doesn't smell like there's livestock being raised here. And it's because of the movement. Really, it's because like there's not a stockpile of manure. The animals aren't staying in the same place for too long. And then what's happening is that the soil is just using that, you know, manure as just fertilizer, and then it's getting broken down naturally. They're getting curious now.
Smile for the camera.
They literally have like one thought at all times, and it's like, is this food?
Yep.
Is this something that I can eat?
Is this rubber boot?
Yes, they just
this chewing
like,
My brain is very similar. 80% of the time.
yeah, they're so cute. I love it when they come out behind the trees.
Yes.
Like they're like hiding, but then they're... The other thing is that pigs don't really have sweat glands, so they don't release heat the same way that humans do. So they don't have that odor either.
And I know that's why they burrow a lot too,
Yeah,
to cool off.
that's
do
why-
do piglets burrow as much?
No, yeah,
Or-
they do too. They use mud as a cooling mechanism. Yeah. So that's why you'll see muddy pigs, is because that's a cooling. And like the whole conception that pigs, like a pigsty, or like pigs are messy or dirty, is like so not. Like they even have select areas that they'll like go to the bathroom in, and then areas that they eat. You know what I mean? Like you can see where they've collectively decided, okay, this is the bathroom area. It's interesting.
Well, that's why I feel like, I mean, there's always misconceptions for every animal and farming and ranching in general, but to me, there's the most misconceptions around the pig because of social media, but then all the factory farms and the fact that there's not many people like you actually doing this anymore in America. And then thinking on, there's like the whole parasite aspect too, because that's another thing I've seen people latch onto online, to where they will refuse to eat any pork because they believe that
They're nursing too.
that's cool. But yeah, they believe that all of them just come with parasites. Do you ever get questions like that from customers?
I actually have not gotten the parasite question a lot. But I get what you're saying. I agree. I think it's like the most misunderstood species, and maybe that's why it's like my favorite, because I feel like I have to like defend it because they're so cool. And I think it's also, like, I will say, of pork that's like, if you're talking about animals raised on a regenerative farm versus meat from the grocery store, the difference between the forest raised pork and pork from the grocery store is like the biggest difference. You know what I mean? If you were looking at grass-fed beef versus conventional beef, like the gap is closer.
Way
like
closer.
Pork is like almost not even the same species, because they're raising industrial breeds that have lighter meat, that have less fat, that are like, you don't get the nuance and flavor, you don't get the really delicious fat, you don't get like the deep rich flavor. And so like, I think that has given pork a bad rap, because I think, in my opinion, it is the best protein.
I haven't had grocery store pork in, I can't even remember the last time I went, because I just do not trust that at all.
No.
Even before visiting farms and ranches, I never did, because I just remember it just always tasted so nasty, and I wouldn't feel that great. Because I talked to another, he's a pig farmer and around SF, and he talks about how there's so many customers to where they wouldn't eat pork for years, but then they tried his and they could finally start digesting it again.
Yeah.
It's just like that in itself is very telling.
Yeah, I've heard people say that they have pork allergies. And I don't know and it's like, I don't know what. Well, I think it's the most diverse protein. Like, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know? Like, And it's also like the only animal that you're getting like full charcuterie out of. And like also people try to recreate like the coveted bacon, you know what I mean? People are trying to make like turkey bacon, mushroom bacon. Like it's just, yeah, I think it's so diverse, and and I feel like it's used among so many different cuisines too. Cultures, yeah.
You guys celebrate?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We'll have to go to the farm store too, and I'll show you guys the farm store. So we do send our fat out for fatty acid analysis too, because that's another major argument, even in like regenerative or carnivore, that basically pushing to eat grass-fed beef because pigs and chickens are fed corn and soy. But the thing is that like I hate that so much, because like there are people like us who feed the pigs diets that we do no corn, no soy, and all of our feed is certified organic. And we've sent it out for fatty acid analysis, and the linoleic acid is like 4.1%, which is like on par with like grass-fed beef. So there's no difference in the PUFAs in the meat or the fat. And I think like we should be pushing for more people to eat pork and chicken that's raised that way, instead of just like dismissing those proteins, because those animals are really, really useful. Like, look around, what other species could we put in here? You know, we couldn't raise, like, you couldn't raise cows in here. There's not enough forage for them. Or you would have to take out a lot of trees in order to turn it into a silvopasture, which would be taking away a lot of habitat for other species. So it's like pigs do really well in here, and we have the land and space, and it creates this really amazing protein. So I think there should be more people advocating for like eating pork that's raised this way, or eating chicken that's raised that way.